Good have Shabbos everyone, Parshas Tovo, also Motzei Shabbos Slichos. So, and also the Shabbos following Chayelul. So I was listening and learning this week the Farbrengen the Rebbe had on Chayel 1982. And the Rebbe brings down a Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, which is the Chayel is the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe. He brings down a Torah of the Baal Shem Tov and a Torah of the Alter Rebbe and tries to see how they go together. We know there's the famous opening of Tzavos of the Baal Shem Tov that he writes that Shavisi Hashem Linagdi Samar, the person has to constantly place Hashem before you. The word Shavisi also comes from the word Shaveh, equal. That the person has to have Shavius, equality, in their service to Hashem. You don't get overly excited when something good happens to you and then get sad or down when something bad happens to you. We serve Hashem with equal simcha no matter what, because our service to Hashem is all about serving Hashem, and we know that anything that comes to us from Hashem is in a way for us. Hashem wants us to serve Him this way. And the Baal Shem Tov continues that even in a situation where a person, let's say, would like to learn or spend time with himself or herself in their service of Hashem, and sometimes we don't have the ability to do so, whether we're engaging with people, we're working, we're traveling, and we may feel like we're wasting time, Baal Shem Tov says no such thing. There's many ways to serve Hashem, and therefore it doesn't make a difference. If we're driving, then we're serving Hashem one way. If we're talking to someone, we're serving Hashem another way. When we're learning, we're serving Hashem a third way, because everything's shaveh, everything's equal. We know that anything Hashem presents to us is the way it should be. But then we find that the Alter Rebbe starts the Tanya, and the Alter Rebbe says in the opening page of the Tanya, the Sharblat, that Kikar v'lecha davar miyoyit b'ficha levavcha l'asosai, that there's a long way and there's a short way, and it has to be, there's a b'ficha, your mouth, there's your heart. So it seems like the Alter Rebbe is saying that there's different ways to serve Hashem, that there's the long way, the short way, where a person has to figure out what's the best way for them, instead of having this idea that the Baal Shem Tov says of equality. And the Rebbe says that they actually go together, because the foundation a person has to have is Shavius. That no matter what happens in their life, this is the way I serve Hashem. But then we have, each one of us have unique tools that we were given to us. We have our Chochmah Binar Das, our wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. We're supposed to use those tools and our midos to best serve Hashem the best way possible, each one to the max. But based on the foundation is Shavius. Everything is equal, no matter what. And if it doesn't always work out the way we want it to, we know that even then we're serving Hashem. This also connects to the idea that the Rebbe continues in another Sikha about Chayel, that the Baal Shem Tov amplified the idea of Avos Hashem, loving God, loving Torah, and loving our fellow Jew. And the Rebbe explained that if a person has one or two of them and is missing the third component, if you love Hashem, you love Torah, you don't love your fellow Jew, you don't feel you have to engage in the next person, then you're not lacking one of three. You're lacking everything. Because at the bottom, the foundation, everything is one. So if you really love the Hashem, you would have Avos Yisrael. And if you really love the Torah, you would love Hashem, and you would love your fellow Jew. This also connects to the beginning of this week's parasha, the famous Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, Ki Savoyo al Aretz. We come to the land. The word Aretz means Ratzin. We want to get to the Ratzin. If you want to know what is the Ratzin of Hashem for each individual person, is that when you come to the Makom Asher, you come to the place that Hashem sends you to, that we know that the idea is L'chshakein Shmo Yisham. We have to bring God's name down to wherever you are, and a person knows, like the Baal Shem Tov teaches us in the famous Torah, that the Rebbe Rashab heard on the Baal Shem Tov's birthday many years after his passing, that when a person, no matter where a person is, the person knows that Hashem sends us there, and there's a reason, and the reason is L'shakein Shmo Yisham, to bring God's name down there, and we have to sometimes have Mesiras Nefesh. It all is one idea. The one idea is that we take all our abilities, all our strengths, everything that's unique about us, but we give it all over to the foundation of Shavisi that we have. We connect to the Pshitis of Hashem, the simplicity of God, to serve Hashem in every way, both based on a foundation of no matter what, and then we try to use the max we can, when we can, our strengths, whether it's intellectual or emotional, to serve Hashem in tzedakah and learning and engaging in other people and teaching other people. And maybe zoichetaka that we come into slichas this Motzei Shabbos, we say l'cha Hashem at tzedakah, v'lo nebaishes upon Him, that God is the tzedakah, He gives us tzedakah, and He's tzedek, He's just, and we're embarrassed, but nevertheless He's going to bless us with the chsiva Torah, chsiva v'chsiva toiva, that we should have a good ben shiur and everything we need b'gashmis b'ruchnis. Good Shabbos.